Welcome back, friends. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about the DOM manipulation process. But first, I'll show you that I created a simple HTML page here like this. And I included my script tag here just above the closing body tag. Now, let me just open this file in my browser. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do here is to reach this H1 tag from DOM and then change its color to blue. So you'll see it's very simple. The whole process is select and manipulate. Okay, so it's a select and manipulate process. So just like CSS, where we write a selector to select something with the class of container or all the A tags or all the div tags, we select elements and then we apply styles like color, blue, font size 16, so on and so forth. With JavaScript and DOM manipulation, we also select elements, although we do it in a very different way. So we write JavaScript code which goes and selects elements and then returns them back to us. And then we change properties on them. So we select something and then we manipulate it. So now I don't want you to focus on the syntax so much as the concept, okay? So in the next couple of lessons, we're going to learn in a very detailed way how we can select and manipulate. This is just a little intro of how it all works together. So now I'll go to my code editor and I'll start to write some code. And first up, I am going to make a variable. So I'll say var h1 element. And of course, you can name it whatever you want. But what's important here is I'm going to store the object that I will get from the DOM in this variable. So there's a lot of different ways of selecting a given element. Now I'm going to show you one of those ways. So I'll say document because remember every HTML tag is returned to a JavaScript object by the browser, and then these objects are stored in an object named document. And to reach these objects, just like we did in earlier objects, we are going to use dot notation. And this document has a method called query selector. And we're going to talk about what this method is, but for now, I just want to show you selection and manipulating. So this is the select and manipulate process in action. Okay then, so inside this method, I want to select the h1 tag. So I'll say h1 in quotes here. So for right now, I selected the h1 tag object from the document object, and then I'll store it inside the h1 element variable. Now this query selector returns an object that represents this h1, and it saves it in the h1 element variable. All right, so that's the selecting process. Next part is the manipulation. So to manipulate it, I can do all sorts of things, and all I'm going to do here is to change the color to blue, I think. So we'll just write h1 element, which is our variable that has the object representing the h1 tag, and then dot style. That's one property, and that style property is a huge object with a bunch of other properties, and color is only one of them. So h1 element dot style dot color equals blue. Yeah, and that's all we have to do. So now I'll save all this, go to the console. So here I'll refresh the page, and yeah, you see our h1 tag is turned blue. So here the browser sees that I've changed that property to blue, and it automatically updates what's being displayed just by turning it blue. So you see here, we've selected and then we manipulated. So what do you say we do another example here? It's going to be a little bit more complicated, but not by much. So we'll do a very simple animation where every second we're going to change the background color of the body. And here we're going to learn a different function. So first, I'm going to define a variable. So I'll say var is yellow is false. And now, dear friends, let me show you that there is a built-in JavaScript function called setInterval. And this function takes two arguments. The first argument is a function. The second argument is a number or a time in milliseconds. So it takes this number of milliseconds, which is 1,000 or 1 second, and every second it will call this function. So now I'll start to write my function out here. I'll say function parenthesis and then curly braces. Inside the function, I'll say if is yellow. It means that if is yellow is true. Then here, I'm going to change the color of the body. And of course, to do that first, we'll need to select the body. So here I say var body element equal to document.query selector body. Now down here, I'll say body element.style. And this time, I want to change the background color. So I'll say dot background equal to white. So if it's yellow, then it changes to white. And if it is not, then else. And here I say body element dot style dot background equal to yellow. So you see what this code does, right? Is it checks if the background is currently yellow. And if it is, then it'll change it to be white. If the background is white, then it'll change to yellow. And then down in here, we need to change this is yellow every time. So I'll say is yellow equal to not is yellow. So this will just toggle the is yellow variable. So let's zoom in for a little closer look. We have our if is yellow. So that's just the variable. Starts out false. So the very first time the page loads, the background's going to be white, right? Is yellow, is false. So this line doesn't run, but this one else does. Body.style.background equals to yellow. So that changes the background to be yellow. So then we just change our is yellow variable from false to true. And that's just a nice sort of way of doing it with the exclamation point or the not operator. So then this code gets run again. Next time is yellow is already true. So this code does run the body.style.background equals white. And now, of course, it's going to change it back to white. And then this doesn't run. Then we change is yellow back to false. And then it keeps going on and on and on. Okay? So I'll save all this, go to my browser, and when I refresh the page, you'll see that the background color of the body is constantly changing on the second. All right, what do you think? So that is the select and manipulate process. That's why DOM exists. Okay, so we'll take a quick pause right here and continue in the next section.